Leveling, balancing a mix, to which each sound has its respected pocket and own space in the mix. Today, I'm going to give you a process you can use to level your beats. It's going to be nice, easy, and concise. So let's get right to it. So how do I level my beats? How do I set myself up for a clean and concise mix? Today, I've outlined a 4-step process you can use every time you approach leveling your beats. Let's get started. First is the most obvious one. Take a listen to your beat. Listen to the drums, listen to the melody, listen to the hook and the chorus. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this beat that I have here that I'm using as an example.
Crazy, that shit wavy.
So you took a listen, you know the vibe of the beat, you know what's up. And it's important that you know what you want to make prominent, what you want to star in the beat, and what you want in the background. So that listen's gonna give you an idea of the overall depth of the beat. The next thing you want to do is to gain stage. And in FL Studio, you can approach this in the most simplistic way I see. It's just by adjusting the knobs on the side of the channel rack. This way you're controlling the volume before it hits the fader. So this way you're touching the initial volume of the sound or plugin, so it's not coming in too hot. I'm not too strict on the numbers, but I do aim for around -14 dB as my minimum and -6 dB as my maximum. I know we hear -18 dB thrown around a lot, but I do find if you have a simplistic approach to mastering or you're not that experienced, peaking at -18 dB becomes too much of a push for the limiter, affecting the overall track to just sound over pushed. Hence why I do it a little bit higher. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this, but I do throw a bus compressor on my master as well as a clipper limiter, which you should have a clipper limiter on your master to make sure that you're not clipping, obviously. Moving on, the next step is to actually level your beats. So how I like to go about thinking about this is like building a house. So you start with the bass and you go up, and the bass in a lot of music is basically the low end. It has the most energy, and it's usually the most complex part, the hardest to mix a lot of times. So I like to start with the kick, the 808, and then just build the drums and add all the elements from there. Let's go ahead and do that. So I start with the kick, and personally, I like to aim around -6 dB. Hence in mind, I'm thinking the kick is going to be the loudest part of my beat. So I can put that at -6 and that'll be the peak. Next, I add my 808, and I'm thinking I want it in the ballpark between 3 to 6 dB around my kick. So less 3 dB, give or take, in that ballpark range, whatever sounds good. Next, I have my snare, and I'm just trying to get the snare to sound like it's at the same level or energy as the kick. And I found I wanted more aggression out of it, so I use this clipper to amplify that. And then for the hi-hats, you can think of it as being between the 808 and the snare, like 3 dB less. Don't go too much below the 808. Just make sure it's crispy on the high end so it cuts through the mix. And then for all your other percussive elements, you don't want them to be louder than a hi-hat, so use a hi-hat as the level everything else should be below after all your main drum elements are in. So that's basically the low end and the drums. You basically have the base of the house, they poured the concrete, they put the structures up. Now you just gotta go ahead and finish building the house with the interiors and the roof. So what you can do as a tip, especially if you're beginning, is to load up Maximus on the master or any type of stereo controlling plugin. And you wanna turn off all the compression on all of these and then just flip the whole thing right into mono. This is going to allow you to hear conflicting areas in a melody so you can adjust with leveling to create the most balanced mix possible. Let's go ahead and do that. So hopefully you've chosen which melody you want to be the most prominent, what you want your main melody to be as. So with that one, it will probably be the loudest, and then the counter will be below that, and then any other existing melodies would be in the background. I know you see effects plugins on these chains, but they're for sound design purposes only. With this, you can just level, choose where you want each to sit, and then go from there. And I know this is not exactly leveling, but the last step I want to add in this leveling process is to adjust and pan. So you pan some stuff, and you can use an EQ and stuff to take out frequencies you don't like. Just clean it up before you start to enhance anything. That's pretty much it. So let's do a quick recap. First, we took a listen to the beat to make sure we got the vibe and the feeling. Next, you want a gain stage to make sure your initial audio is not coming in too hot and you don't want any clipping. Thirdly, you actually level the beats. You can use the mono technique so you can see the conflicting areas and frequencies that you need to adjust. Then lastly, you can just adjust and pan. With that, you have a 4-step process you can use every time you go ahead and level your beats. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for the love you guys been showing. I hope we keep going up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Crazy, that shit wavy.